Shopping carts. The bloom is off the rose of life. You're too big to ride one through the parking lot, so you pick your cart, hoping the wheel runs true, and the handle isn't covered in crime scene levels of DNA. And you pick up your frozen Stouffer's lasagna to take home to your complacent family, because you're not entirely sure whether you or your wife will be getting home first. But you know this much. Whoever it is won't be in the mood to cook. So you might as well nuke something. Wait a minute, do you put Stouffer's in the oven or the mic?
Regular card reviews. Say regular card reviews.
Ah yes, the shopping cart. The official accessory of errands you don't feel like running. It's like the last hurdle you have to jump through at the end of the day before you get to go home. Picking up a pint of ice cream with chocolate darker than goth kid poetry. Or a pack of cheap energy drinks to power your later decision to log out of every game in which your team is losing. Now, you would think shopping carts have been around since time immemorial. And will be long after the point at which robots have taken over.
It is the year 2131! There are no cars. There are no internet. There is only cart.
But apparently the shopping cart, at least as we know it, has only been around since June 4th, 1937, when Oklahoma supermarket chain owner Sylvan Goodman introduced a rolling, two-wheeled wooden folding chair with a basket where the seat would go. The design was refined and a patent was awarded in 1940, except it didn't really become popular right away. This is because men at the time felt their masculinity threatened by it, judging the design to be too feminine, which is exactly the problem women had with it as well, since it had this baby stroller design that was kind of patronizing to them, as if their only value was as the reproductive equivalent of GM's Bowling Green assembly plant. So Goldman got smart and decided to hire models, both men and women alike, to walk around stores using the shopping carts. He also hired greeters to demonstrate how to use the foldable cart. Long story short, the shopping cart caught on, and Goldman made a lot of money, becoming a multi-millionaire over time. In fact, shopping carts became so popular that aisles were widened to accommodate them. And eventually, it even became an opportunity to make extra money by charging for their use, which still happens today, but at least at Aldi's, you get your quarter back. But Goldman's profit stream hit a bit of a snag when an inventor named Orla Watson came up with a swinging rear door that essentially allowed carts to be nested into each other to save space in stores. Ugh, the sibilance on that one is going to be rough. Watson applied for a patent on his design, but Goldman sued for infringement on the notion that the design was similar to his own nesting cart design. But after discovering that the swinging rear door was the key to Watson's design, Goldman relinquished the patent in exchange for exclusive licensing rights. That is, until 1950, when the federal government sued Watson's company, Telescope Carts Incorporated, claiming the exclusive license was invalid. So Telescope Carts agreed to a consent decree that would extend the same licensing opportunity to other companies. And this is how the shopping cart essentially became a commercial mainstay. As normal a part of regular life as insert joke. Yet the shopping cart isn't exactly exciting, is it? Past the age you no longer fit in the basket, it just becomes a means to an end. But docking points from the shopping cart for not being fun would be like penalizing a straight-piped E36 for not getting you laid. Function trumps form, but only insofar as pragmatic form outperforms its gratifying function. Basically, it doesn't matter if you can shout "wee" as you ride it out to your, I don't know, Mercury Tracer, whatever. As long as it gets all your groceries from the store to your car without the wheel going sideways like a blind date in sober October. I'm long removed from the days of sleepovers at Peter Garcia's house with the fully stocked pantry with all the name brand stuff you're not allowed to have, and then his mom lets you have an extra pudding cup and a Capri Sun out of the fridge even though dinner is in 30 minutes. No, those days are gone, and now I have to at least pay lip service to the concept of adulthood. So, having said that, how does this cart drive? Well, this shopping cart was one of the most adequate experiences I've had in recent memory, at least where shopping carts are concerned. It was pretty smooth, actually, although I couldn't tell you the make or model, and I can't really say that I care about learning either. I mean, do you? Which sort of speaks to the socio-cultural identity of the shopping cart. You're not supposed to care about them. They're meant to be used, ignored, forgotten. How often do you find a shopping center that doesn't have unmoored shopping carts, set adrift in the vast oceanic parking lot, abandoned like a roadside Mazda? Unless you're one of the sentimental principal lot who sees errant carts and returns them even though they weren't yours, then I guess it wouldn't really apply. Regardless, you're not supposed to think about a shopping cart so long as it's in working order. No squeaking, wobbling wheels, a functioning seating restraint for any child you might have, and adequate room to hold all the things you're purchasing. Acceleration is great, yeah, but it's hardly necessary, and parking is rarely a problem as long as you can place the cart within the boundaries of the return kiosk. And usually an employee will take it from there, although it's probably better if you nest your cart within the nearest available cart for ease of collection. But I would think as long as you satisfy the bare minimum of not leaving the cart out, you're good. At least then you can go back home to your blog with a clear conscience. Shopping carts. Sponsored by a person who spent over 10,000 words definitively ranking Bath and Body Works candles. Oh, yeah, that takes me back to getting dumped. But you also have to be vigilant with a shopping cart, particularly if you have kids. For example, and yes, it's a long time ago, but it's relevant here. You see, in 2005, over 20,000 kids under the age of 5 were sent to the hospital over cart-related injuries, hence all the race car-themed carts you see today, since kids are less likely to fall out of those. And if they do, I mean, it's not like they're falling from several feet high. But then there's the gross factor, too, as shopping carts ranked 3rd in a 2007 University of Arizona study of the nastiest public items to touch. I'm talking fecal matter, raw meat juices, saliva, all that nasty stuff, you know? Sure, it's at a particulate level, but it's still really nasty to think about. Because again, shopping carts aren't something you're even really meant to think about at all. If you're just a single, poorly rested guy who looks like he's been carrying the one ring for a little bit too long, and you're simply looking for something quick to make for dinner, you're not thinking of the rolling petri dish that holds all your goods. Of course, now you see a lot of places with cart wipes, so maybe it's not as bad as it used to be. I do know that shopping carts offer their own value beyond just what they do in helping carry your goods to and from your car. People tend to think of shopping carts as these disposable, expendable things, when really that's not the case, at least to the business. Because a shopping cart could run to as much as $150 or more to replace, and that's not an insubstantial amount of money once it adds up in the event of multiple carts being damaged, being stolen, being lost because someone didn't put them back. You know, all those things. It's an accumulation. I mean, if I'm in a Wegmans parking lot and, you know, I need to stop at the state store to pick up a box of wine or a bottle of, I don't know, I don't really drink anymore, but let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say I still do, and I need to go to the liquor store, but it's Pennsylvania, so it's a state store, so I'm going down there and hurrying before it closes, but I don't have enough, you know, free hands to carry all the stuff I'm going to be getting because I guess it's like a party night in this world, you know. If I take that cart over to the liquor store, well, state store, whatever, and get all of my stuff and then just put it in the cart and then take it with me, I mean, I'd better remember to put that cart back because if that cart ends up getting blown away by a strong gust of southeastern Pennsylvania wind, then odds are that business, that Wegmans, is going to be out of money. And yes, they can probably afford it, but it's about not being a dick. And I would like to think that I'm not a dick, but again, it's something that we all like to think about ourselves. We like to believe the best in ourselves, and sometimes living up to that image of yourself can be as easy as just doing a simple thing like putting a shopping cart back and making things a little bit easier for people who work in the retail industry. No, of course, I don't know exactly how hard this is for somebody who works at a grocery store to round up all the carts and then take them all back, but I do know that this time of year it's pretty damn cold, and I wouldn't want anyone to be outside any longer than they had to be. So yeah, ultimately, if you're picking up more than you can carry, shopping carts are as necessary as ever. And sure, there are alternatives like mobile delivery or mobile pickup. You know, those parking spots where you just show up and then they drop off your order or your groceries into your trunk for you. Realistically, I guess you can do all your grocery shopping with the click of a button and then have it brought out to you, you know what I mean? But I do enjoy the tactile experience of going through a grocery store and being able to pick out my things to make considerations on the fly. And if you like doing that, there are still alternatives like bringing your own reusable bags, maybe cloth bags, you know? But have you been hitting the gym often enough to carry all your stuff around the store without a shopping cart? Are you really doing Edward grocery hands around the Wegmans while you do Thanksgiving shopping? I don't know. What I do know, however, is that while things aren't perfect, they could always be a whole hell of a lot worse. Shopping carts may not be one of the world's great inventions, but their function engenders certain memories, certain experiences. I mean, I remember being a kid and going to the grocery store with my mom and, you know, riding in the basket for a bit before getting out to go look at the wrestling magazines and just sort of parking myself there while she worked her way around the store. And ultimately, those memories don't have to do with the cart at all, really. But, I mean, without a shopping cart, are we doing that much shopping? Are we spending that much time just sort of hanging out as we get our stuff and making spontaneous decisions like we sometimes do? It's easy not to care about a shopping cart, and it's even easier not to think about one at all. But sometimes the best inventions are the ones you take for granted. And in a way, so are the best memories. So, next time you're out shopping, I don't know, just treat your shopping cart a little nicer.
Who'll be your cartoon